And Shanna, welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help you with?
Thank you. Yes, I have a 2005 Ford Escape.
Uh-huh.
It's a six-cylinder limited, and it has a little over 200,000 miles on it. And what it'll do when I'm going down the road, it will the engine will keep running, but it won't keep moving forward. It'll slow down. I have to pull off the side of the road, let it rest a little bit, crank it back up, and then it'll go on down the road. And just wondered if what that might be.
I love the way you put that. It sounded so good. I have to pull over and let it rest a little bit.
I feel that way sometimes myself.
Oh, boy. So it pulls over and rests, and then it's ready to go again. Okay. All right. What it sounds like is that vehicle is going into power loss mode. There's certain items that can happen to the car that will make it to where the computer does not want to try to make a decision because it feels like it's getting faulty information. And so a long time ago, before the vehicle's computer system started getting better and better, when it would detect something like that, it would go into tennis shoe mode, which means you are walking. Now it goes into power loss mode, which means it's going to let you go, but you're going to go really slow. It's going to give you the opportunity to get home or to a shop, and that's pretty much it. Now, what you're doing when you're pulling over and you're letting this vehicle rest a little bit, you're actually more than likely cutting the vehicle off during that time, and it's actually rebooting the system. And I can tell you on that vehicle that the first step on tracing down the problem is going to be to find out what type trouble codes are stored in there. The computer has a memory, and it knows what trouble code or what fault happened to make it want to go into that power loss mode. And I can tell you more commonly on that vehicle, we run into throttle bodies a good bit. And going back just one other time, many years ago, cars used to have a cable that run from the gas pedal to the throttle body, and you'd give it the gas, it'd pull a cable and let more air into the car, and then more fuel would go in, you'd go faster. Now that's all electronically controlled. You got an electronic sensor on the gas pedal, electronic motor, and sensor on the side of the throttle body. And they are able to work together to let you accelerate. But if something goes wrong, of course, it could be catastrophic if it was getting bad readings because and it was to use those bad readings to let you go because your gas pedal may just it may think you want to go 100 miles an hour when you only want to go 10 miles an hour. So what they do is if it senses any problems whatsoever, it says, boom, I'm not going to take a chance on wrecking this car. It's not mine, so I'm not going to wreck it. So I'm going into power loss mode, and I'm going to get my driver home, but that's all I'm going to do. I mean, that's it. But when you cut it off, back on, let it rest a little bit, sometimes you're rebooting it, and it forgets everything that happens, and it don't do it again until it happens again. Does any of that add up, Shannon?
It surely does.
All right. In short, I would recommend having a technician check the trouble codes on the car, find out what codes are stored in there, and that technician will hit a button on his computer, his or her computer, and print a chart, and that chart will say check voltage here, check this, check that, check this, and then at the bottom it'll say replace this. And so, and then a service advisor, which the reason I'm going into this detail is because we're going to be talking about career opportunities in the automotive industry. A service advisor, the technician will communicate that information to a service advisor. The service advisor will write it down on an invoice so that they can get an estimate together, and they'll give you a call and say, Shanna, we ran the test on your vehicle, and we determined that you have a bad, let's say, throttle body. It's going to run $832.42. And I hope I didn't shock you a little bit. Throttle bodies are a little pricey. And we can have that done tomorrow. Would you like for us to move forward? And you say yes. Technician jumps on it, gets the job done. somebody QCs the car. There might be even a detailer in the back of the shop that might clean it up a little bit, make it look good. And then someone will check you out at the front counter. So that's another example of all the wonderful people that's involved in making all of this work so that you can have your car repaired.
That sounds like C&C Auto.
Well, thank you.
I've been on the receiving end of that many times myself. It goes just the way Aaron said.
Yeah. Well, Shannon, that was a great question, and I would recommend having the coach check, and I really do appreciate the call very much.